Hey guys, Brandon Kroggy here with day 2 of my 21-day challenge on video production related stuff. So today's actually going to be about color. Just a little side note though, this microphone is amazing. Yesterday, I had it going with the pellet stove. I could barely hear it in my audio. I could hear every once in a while the clinking of some pellets and then just a little bit of the fan. The SM7B hardly compares to this thing, honestly. Like I was very impressed. The SM7B I feel like picks up more noise than this thing, than this microphone does. I don't know, maybe I'm just how I'm running it, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? I'll do some more tests on it. I'll probably do a review on it at a later video. Pretty stoked about the microphone though. I feel like I got my breathing a lot, so maybe I need to work on my breathing. Maybe that could be a whole day right there. So let's kind of dive right in though. So about color. So I was watching this video where this guy did this very monochrome look on everything except for the skin tones of the individuals. So what that really did was really make the individuals pop, and just a really cool kind of like everything was desaturated except for them, their skin tones. Basically their skin tones, like everything in the skin tone indicator line on a vector scope was desaturated, everything besides that line. So that was kind of cool. I took my own little take on it though, so I kind of made my own because I felt like it looked a little too fake. Like if I were to like use it in like a wedding video or almost any of my videos, it's just it was a cool color grade, but it's like, was it practical? I don't really feel like it was very practical, and sometimes you see the skin would get desaturated too. So I don't know, I was kind of like not a huge fan of it, so I was like, I could do that, but make it kind of my own. So I was actually playing around with doing that already before I looked at that video, and then I was kind of scrolling through YouTube trying to get ideas for today and ran that video, so it was meant to be. So let's kind of dive right in. Let's dive right into DaVinci Resolve here. I'll put my little box up, and first off, let's go to settings. So typically 23976 is what I do. I edit in the 1920 by 1080, and then I'll do 4K if I want to export in 4K. But let's jump into color management, just an important one. We have DaVinci YRGB, and then Rec 709-A. So this Rec 709-A is actually really important if you're using a Mac, because if you don't, when you export it, you're gonna have a weird, like, desaturated bad gamma, the gamma is all messed up. So and then we go from, normally this is on trilinear. We won't touch a heat rule because I'm about to use these LUTs. And then if you want to dive into audio, I typically change this to -14 LUTs. So it's kind of my general settings overview. Now let's kind of dive right into what I've got laid out here in the node tree. So we've got exposure, white balance, contrast, secondary look, and then look adjustment and LUT. This look adjustment is actually a new one, but this is pretty much my standard node tree. I kind of liked the look adjustment because you like fine tune your look. That I actually pulled this from that video that I was watching. So first off, let's get this to Rec 709. So I have a LUT that will do that for me, the Phantom LUTs, which are amazing. If you have a pocket camera, like a pocket 4K, 6K, 6K Pro, it's great. And then I'm using this with my FX, oh wait, this is my pocket camera. There you go. But obviously you can use it for your FX3. So yeah, the FX3 or like the FX30 work great with it. The S-Log S. I even use it with my A7 III sometimes. The S-Log 3. It also has an S-Log 2 version, but I'm a fan of S-Log 3. So, all right, let's do the neutral one. So this will get us into a Rec 709. So first thing I probably want to do is actually correct my image. So first thought, right when I look at this image, there's a lot of green. So you can kind of see it right here in the scopes, all of this green. So let's go straight to white balance and just get this to a reasonable spot, right? Now we have a lot of yellow, but I kind of think I want this image to be a little bit warmer. But actually, let's just pump just a little tiny bit of blue. Not too much though. That's actually pretty good right there. So now we're looking a lot better. Let's just take a little eyedropper and then make sure her dress is like somewhat, I mean, it's too blue, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at it, okay. And you gotta keep in mind, like, this was a very, like, the sun was coming right through the trees here, which gives very, like, yellowy orange cast to it at the time. So that's looking pretty decent right there. All right, now let's go into exposure and adjust that. So I'm probably gonna want to drop the exposure a little bit because this is like a more moody look. So I'm gonna start with the lift, just drop that down a little bit, and then drop the gamma down just a touch. but I don't want to drop it too much because I still like my skin tones to be like fairly well right there. Okay, bring the gain up just a touch. All right, let's jump into our contrast node and start doing some contrast. So we're gonna pop in here, go to our curves. I like to use the curves for contrast. It gives me a little bit more control of what I'm doing here. So I actually like to lift my blacks just a touch. So I'm gonna start by doing that. Actually, take that back. This makes it way easier if you just go add default anchors. You can raise this up. You can grab this, hit options, slide it down. So this is gonna lift my blacks just a little bit, but also darken some of my shadows, give that contrasty look. And we can maybe even drop, I might even push this point just a touch down. This doesn't seem to be quite high enough. I don't know, I just gotta kind of finagle this until I like it. So as we're going more moody, I'll drop this down just a touch. Then we want to level out our highlights right here too. Bring these up. This is going to give us a nice roll off in the highlights here. Alright, sweet. I'm actually going to mess around with this just a little more. Not really liking it so dark. Alright, let's go with that for now, and we can come back and adjust if we need to. So, secondary, let's not worry about that right now. That will be all of our adjustments after we do our look here. So with our look, first thing like that I would do would just go right into hue versus sat. You're gonna grab their skin tones. So you're gonna click on their skin tones with a little eyedropper, and then he would desaturate like all the way down to here. But I kind of like, I mean, I like that yellow coming through the trees, but let's saturate that just a little bit. But we got to bring everything else down too. So let's just go ahead and do that. Drop everything almost down to like 0 here. Lips can kind of fall in this area, so you got to be very careful if you got a close up of the lips. Somebody's lips. So this would be a great one to do like a nice warm vibe too, but I'm kind of liking this desaturated. So we're actually going to take more of this yellow out than I was planning. Bring this back up. Okay, so now let's just kind of look at what the looks look like before and after. So we've already made a huge difference in the look here. I'm probably going to try to make the couple pop just a little bit more. So how I'll go about doing that, so I'm actually going to go hue versus luma here. Protect their skin tones again, and then just start messing with these. Just coming up's gonna be the best option here. The luma, and then probably gonna drop their skin just down just a touch. All right, so now we're kind of really starting to clean our image out. I still feel like they're not quite popping though. So let's go into our mid-tone detail. Bring some of those up. That's gonna help them pop just a little more right there. I'm gonna add a fine-tuning node for afterwards. Okay, fine-tuning. So that's gonna be like we can maybe just set sharpness and all that. We could add a nice vignette or like single them out. But I'm liking the contrast, like they're really contrasty looking and it just looks clean to me. So I really like that. I feel like what can dirty up an image a lot of times is like the greens. So the greens can kind of, if they're overdone, which typically I feel like greens are almost always overdone, I feel like that really dirties up the image and makes it really hard for a nice clean image. So that's why I changed my mind on the greens when I was kind of adjusting all that. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have those greens right there. So let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, moving the image just a little bit. Get their skin tones here. Okay, so black magics are pretty notorious for having just a touch of noise. You can add a little noise reduction node here if you want to. and then you're gonna sharpen the image here. But yeah, we'll do a little bit real quick. We'll breeze through that. So I think we go about 2, better, always better. And then adjust this temporal threshold a little bit. Honestly, it looks at the chroma more, but I'm just gonna do both because I'm in a rush here. Okay, good. And then let's just counteract that with just a little bit more sharpness here, but not overdo it. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm liking that, where that image is sitting. But now let's just double check our skin tones here, and then we'll add another effect at the very end. Surprise effect. Surprise. Let's see here. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Checking skin tones. Oh gosh, just doing everything wrong here. Okay, there we go. Oh, I need to switch scopes. You normally have all my scopes up, but then since I got one screen with you guys, you're unable to do that right now. 2x zoom, because I like to see what I'm actually looking at, and it's a very desaturated image now. So maybe, I mean, you might be able to kind of do skin tones before and then come back to them. But I feel like we're sitting a little more towards green on the skin tones. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop right in here. I'm going to go click on their skin tones, and then we're going to shift towards magenta just a touch. And you would be able to see it down here. I'm going to give them a little bit more saturation in their skin while I'm at this. So shift towards magenta, a little more saturation. Just kind of make them pop, stand out from the background, right? So there we go. All right, I'm gonna hit Z, go back out. So now their skin tones should be popping a little bit more too. See? Give them a little more life into their skin tones. We added the noise reduction, the fine tuning, and this already has a really nice glow to the image, like just how the sun's coming through the trees right there. I mean, I thought it was pretty awesome. So this is like very different from the video, by the way. If you guys watched the video, that's what I mean. Like, this looks a little bit more realistic to me, a little bit cleaner, and I just really like how, like, it's still kind of dark and moody, but has some punch to it, honestly. So, but let's add that glow just to see. Actually, I'm not super familiar with glow. I'll probably put it. He put it pretty early on in the image. I think he even put it before exposure. So I mean, we could try. Let's try 2 spots here. So we're gonna try it before exposure and then at the end, and just kind of see. That's how I can sometimes tell if I where a node should go in the node tree. So it's pretty useful with that. Keeping that in mind. All right, we're gonna go Shift S, which is gonna give us a node before exposure. So the glow is gonna go there, but we will also do one after fine tuning, so we don't sharpen it. So I'm gonna go Options S, which will put another serial node in. Okay, we're gonna start here and then go from there. Just gonna type it in the search bar here. Glow. Okay, with the glow, it can get kind of tricky, and there's a couple things that we really need to keep in mind. So right now with glow, it adds it in. So it's not what we want. So I'll show you guys. Add. Actually, we have to adjust something real quick. Oh, it's not the spread yet. Shine threshold. We want to get rid of shine threshold. Completely get rid of it. I mean, drop it down. Maybe I won't drop down as much. We'll try that right there. He did it and like completely, it didn't do as much to the image. So it brightens up the image quite a bit. We're gonna just move it just a little bit, and then we want to move our spread so this starts to define them and kind of create some contrast. See that? So it's like spread. It really kind of starts to separate some things here out, or things out for us. But it's a little bit overdone, and we're going to take the saturation down because we don't want it interfering with any of the colors. So it being a little bit overdone, one thing you could do is adjust this shine threshold, but then it's going to make that, it's going to really add contrast. So you want to keep that pretty low. Global blend. So all Fusion effects, I even said this in yesterday's video, have this global blend where you can kind of fine tune it a little bit. So in order to have a good amount of glow, I'll drop that down quite a bit. So there, we added some glow. Let's turn that on and off and kind of see, and then we're actually going to switch the spot, remember? So yeah, added a little bit extra oomph to the image, especially in the highlights. Oomph. So we're gonna hit Control, grab it. Oops, not Control. Command. I used to have Mac here. We're gonna drag it and drop it. That should shift it. So we're gonna see what the glow does here. And we're gonna see what the glow does at the beginning here. I like it more at the beginning. So glow probably should go at the beginning. It's like an exposure effect. So it kind of goes before the exposure. Yeah, I like it. So we're gonna keep it right here at the beginning. Yeah, that's where we're at. So let me show you guys full screen, and then we're actually gonna post it onto another what I'm trying to say here. Another like a drone shot that I also got from the same wedding. So I'll select all these guys, Command F, Command D. So deactivate. We go from this image to this, and I'm really digging this new style, this new look. I feel like it's pretty clean. The blacks are definitely lower than my normal, and this is our next image. So look at that. All right, we're gonna copy paste and make this as quick as possible. So Command C. And we're gonna have to make some adjustments, right? But Command V. So first off, it's got a lot on it. Let's get rid of that. It's already Rec 709. All right. Second off, let's see, exposure. Let's reset this node because we're gonna have to readjust that. We're gonna have to get rid of our secondary. We don't have any skin tones anymore to worry about. White balance, reset that node. Contrast. I'm actually gonna keep the contrast the same and kind of work around it. We'll get rid of the contrast right now. Get rid of the look just so I can see what I'm working with here. All right, so we're gonna go into, I didn't even use my look adjustment. We can create some more contrast by using that. So we'll dive back in just a sec here after this, and I'll show you guys what I could do with that look adjustment, which is pretty cool. So I'm kind of liking, I think the white balance is pretty good actually, because that's like the only white thing in the image right there. So it looks pretty decent. Exposure, I like to even this exposure out. Like drones just get like so much dynamic range and stuff in them. So I'm gonna start by kind of like drop gain down and raise gamma at the same time, and then drop my lift down to give it. There we go. So that's already looking a little bit better for the drone shot. Probably drop my gamma down just a little bit because I probably raised it a little too much there. Okay, to darken the image a little bit, and then we have our contrast node. We'll add that back in. So those blacks, not a huge fan of those blacks on the drone shot. So we're actually gonna go in, and if I'm on the right node, I'm gonna drop these blacks down just a touch, okay? And then we're gonna drop this guy down just a touch as well. This is gonna kind of come down. Even drop the highlights down. I think overall exposure, I could have just probably dropped the overall exposure. Been better off. Okay, so curves looking a little better. Let's see, secondary. I could mess with this, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. Just for the sake of the time of the video, which I'm about to run out of time. So look adjustment, we could do some stuff with that. Let's slap that look on. So a very desaturated look. I don't know about it for this. I would probably find one thing in the image I'd want to really pop. Like I would probably go into this look, and what I would differ here is maybe I'd even make the blues pop. Like let's just take a look and see what making those guys pop would look like. So here's the water right here. I'm gonna go here, here. Yeah, not bad. If I did that, I would definitely want to drop the luma on the blues because I think darker blues always look a little better. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it quite. I mean, the other thing to do would be like bring some of these greens back up too. Maybe these greens are a little too desaturated. I think the blues are a little more desaturated there, but like that's like normal blues right there. Let's just toggle on and off. So I'm not as much of a fan of this look on the drone shot, I'd probably be messing around with this quite a bit more. The glow is adding a little bit too right there, but I don't know. Let's go back to this this one I had before. So drone shot didn't really work out. This is my first time trying on a drone shot, so I'd have to probably play around with it just a little bit more to really dial it in and kind of figure out what I would want to do with that. So let's look at that look adjustment, right? So one thing that you can do to create a little more contrast, color contrast, I've seen this done a couple times in different ways. Add a little bit of like blue, for example, because their skin tones are more that orange, right? So we want to add the opposite color. And now that adds like blue, and you definitely see the blue now. Like let's say you don't want that significant. So if we drive up the shadows in the opposite direction, it'll create some contrast. So if you're gonna toggle this on and off, you have your blue, but then you have kind of create some color contrast to make them pop a little bit more. And if even like looking at this image now, something he didn't even do, I'm just gonna do it right now. Drive some orange up in those mid-tones too, so that's gonna make it pop even more. So now we have the shadows being more of a blue. Works more like a little bit better, probably the darker, moodier image. I'm even gonna drive. We're gonna go all in. Like, let's just move these highlights around, see if I'm affecting anything. Okay, highlights aren't doing anything. So here's my solution. We're gonna take the gain and we're gonna go off. No, deactivated. That is boot. Go back to highlights. The mid-tones are popping. Okay, so highlights are like basically the sky. I actually want to grab gain, and I'm going to move the highlights in the opposite direction. So we're going to move gain more towards this orangish look, because I just like that orange light coming through. There we go. And we're going to take this other wheel, and I'm going to move it towards blue. So I gotta look at the sky. So I'm going way over so I can see what I'm affecting. Just putting some blue in the sky. So let's just kind of take a look at the look adjustment. So I maybe didn't separate the couple as much, but I really enjoy that orange coming through the trees. I probably would actually go in and I'd actually adjust this lift just a little more towards blue. There we go. And then shadows, maybe just touch towards the orange still. Now let's toggle that on and off. There we go. See how there's a little more pop. Look, like watch them. It's a little bit more pop. I kind of like the colors a little bit more too. This is the clip just playing through. They were kind of messing around. We had them doing like airplane deal or whatever. Those are always the best ones. Those are like the most authentic moments. So yeah, I mean, that's the color grade right there. I mean, I'll make it big again. We'll kind of watch it one more time, and then so the whites look pretty good. I like her white. I feel like these highlights are a little more digital. I'd probably bring those down a little bit more. So like do the gain and gamma and adjust those accordingly. But yeah, pretty good for a Blackmagic pocket camera. I'm always impressed with the colors coming out of these guys sometimes. So yeah, that's the grade, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I know I was kind of rambling for a while there. You watched my whole color grading process as an experiment. So thanks for sticking with me, and I learned a little bit today, so that's good. I feel like I gotta play with this color grade a little bit more to see if I really like it. Maybe make a lot out of it. I don't know. We'll see. So far I'm enjoying it. I feel like it makes my couples pop more. It's a little bit more clean than my standard look, which is kind of a more rustic look for weddings. But I'm really enjoying this one too. I might even have two looks. Is that a problem? I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. See you guys.